The Akan people say, a single bead does not make a necklace. Your life is a royal story, and your identity is a crown. But a crown's brilliance is found in its jewels. This is the Crown of Glory podcast, and these are the crown jewels, the weekly truths you need to make your own crown shine brighter. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. We've been on an amazing journey so far. We've learned to take control of our thoughts and to be intentional with gratitude. But today, our crown jewel is a topic that might feel a little bit challenging, especially in a world that tells us to constantly hustle. We are talking about finding rest in your reign. Living a purposeful life often feels like it requires constant work. There's so much to do, so many people to serve, and so many goals to achieve. We might even feel guilty for taking a break, as if resting is a sign of weakness or laziness. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Rest is not a luxury, it's a spiritual necessity. It's part of your royal identity. Think about it this way. A true ruler knows when to work and when to retreat and recharge. They understand that their strength comes from a wellspring that must be refilled, not just from their own effort. Jesus understood this perfectly. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He doesn't say, push harder, work more. He says, come to me. He knows that we are never designed to carry the weight of the world on our own. True rest is not just about sleeping, it's about trusting God with our burdens. The Old Testament also gives us a beautiful picture of this. In Exodus chapter 33, verse 14, God tells Moses, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." The key here is that God's presence is a rest. It is in being with Him that we find out deepest faith, peace, and restoration. So, my dear listener, let's be clear. Rest is not laziness. Laziness is the lack of a desire to work. Rest, on the other hand, is a purposeful, intentional pause designed to prepare you for future work. It's an act of faith. It's saying, God, I trust that my worth and provision don't depend on my non-stop effort. I trust that you've got this. So, my dear listener, how do we practically find rest in a busy world? First, schedule it. Just as you schedule your meetings and your errands, schedule time for rest. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It could be only 15 minutes of quiet time with a cup of tea, coffee, a walk outside, or even simply a moment of stillness in your car before you go inside. Second, learn to disconnect. In a world of constant notifications and screens, true rest requires us to unplug. Give yourself permission to step away from your phone and social media, even for a short period. And finally, my dear listener, practice rest as an act of worship. When you're resting, thank God for the opportunity to recharge. Thank Him for the peace that comes from being in His presence. Remember, your crown is meant to be worn with grace, not with exhaustion. Taking time to rest is one of the most powerful things you can do to honor yourself and to honor the one who gave you that crown. Until next time, God bless. Thank you for listening to this week's Crown Jewel. May the truth we've shared be a new piece of brilliance in your crown, adding to the weight and glory of your purpose. If you are blessed by this message, be sure to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a jewel. Until next time, keep your crown high.